Special guest, Mariana Lacombe, on this show, on the Business and Wealth Show. And right now, she is in South Florida, tuning in from there. So, Marianne, thank you for jumping onto the Business and Wealth Show with us.
Thank you very much, Mac. Thank you for having me here and especially for creating this amazing vehicle for other business owners to learn more about wealth and success. I'm really
And
excited.
it's so important. Your wealth and success, it's so important for so many people. And that's the reason why we created this platform. So let's get straight into it, Mariana. And tell us about what you do currently, and why do people hire you to do that magic that you do? Go ahead.
Yes, absolutely. Well, so today I am a CEO advisor. So what I do, I help business owners uh, figure out the issues that they have in their business. I help them with the main decisions that they have to make so that they can become more profitable and ultimately also grow their wealth. What happens with many business owners, and I'm pretty sure you know that too, is that they focus so much on the business, but they forget their personal side of the story. I
Mm.
know a lot of people that have seven-figure businesses, but their wealth is not necessarily growing at the same speed. So they give it all to the business, but they receive very little. So I help them flip that relationship between giving and receiving in the business so they become more profitable, so they grow their net worth, and they so that they can have freedom in life. And that's what every business owner wants. They want the freedom that he can create. So that's what I currently do.
Excellent. So stay tuned in. If you are a business owner or aspiring business owner or aspiring entrepreneur, or you have a business, six figures, seven figures, eight figures, but you are not happy, you are not fulfilled, you don't feel the success, you don't feel your own personal wealth growing, stay tuned, because this is the lady who will help you to get clear and all that and why that happens. And one thing I said to Mariana before we jumped on, because Mariana is rich, she's in USA, she's been in USA for many years, but originally from Brazil. And I was saying how my family love Brazil. We were in Rio de Janeiro a few years back, and they can't wait to go back. So I just wanted to share that with you. Mariana, tell us, how, before we get into your expertise,
Mhm.
how long have you been an entrepreneur, and what happened for you to become an entrepreneur? What was your first entrepreneurial venture?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question because I think I've always seen myself as an entrepreneur. There was always something going on in my life. I was always trying to solve a problem. I remember even as a kid making little bracelets and I would sell them to my friends. So there was always
Right.
something there. But um, as you mentioned, I come from Brazil, and Brazil is a country of difficult opportunities. When I grew up, we were not wealthy at all. My family come from very humble beginnings, and my parents were very hardworking professionals. So my father was an accountant. My mom was trying to figure out her entrepreneurial journey. So I grew up with my parents working multiple jobs, and I would barely see them sometimes because they were working so much. So we grew in that space of not having an excuse not to show up and, provide for a family.
Hmm.
But normally, um, being in that space, I decided to start working when I was 15 years old. So that's when I started working. And I took it very seriously. So I would go to school in the morning, I would go to work in the afternoon. And then in the evenings, I would learn languages. I really wanted to be fluent in English. And I would do sports. So
Oh,
that was
wow.
my day. I
At
would,
the
I
age of
would get started.
15.
Yes.
At the age
I
of
would get started
15.
at 7 and I would finish my day at 10, 11 p.m. or so because of that routine.
Oh my goodness. And still you had to make time for homework and turn up in class next day on time. So at the age of 15, so this when you say go to work, was it a company you're working for? Was it the family business? What was going to work looking, what does that look like?
Yeah, so the family did have a business actually that was my mother created a technology company when I was about 12 years old, and that was when we started to see things changing. That's when I noticed and I realized that being an entrepreneur creates unlimited income potential because, by the time they only had jobs, we had a
Yeah.
really tough life. And then now there is this company providing so much. So it clicked in my mind, right? That, wait a minute, as a business owner, I have unlimited possibilities, but
Yeah.
I really, really wanted to learn. So I did get a job in one of our companies, but I took it so seriously that I did not want to get paid. So I remember clearly the HR manager wanting to get my documents to get paid. I'm like, no, wait a minute. I don't want to get paid. I'm here to learn. I should be paying you guys. That was kind of my attitude when I got started. But then I worked with other companies too. And as a matter of fact, when I was 21, I actually had my own company. So I brought a brand from Italy to Brazil called Replay. So it's a jeans
Oh yeah, I know it.
store. Yeah, very famous one, right? And I'm like, wait a minute, there's an opportunity here. So I actually opened a store in Brazil of this Italian brand,
Uh-huh.
and that I was 21, right? So there was always this thing of being in corporate, adding value to companies, but with the entrepreneurial mindset, I always wanted to improve everything to make sure that the teams were showing up powerfully, being more
Mm.
effective, while I always had my businesses on the side, right?
Wow.
So
Wow.
it's such in a short period of time, in 5 years, 5, 6 years between my teenage years and my
Yeah.
young adult years, I already had my own company as well.
Well, okay, wow. So no, 20, 15 years of age, straight into work, working hard,
Yeah.
doing your studies. 21 opens up a store, a fashion brand at the age of 21, where most 21-year-olds are going out, drinking, going to bars, all this kind of stuff. But you had your head screwed on and you were serious about your entrepreneurial journey. Tell me, how does one create a very successful business? And when I say successful, I'm talking about a business that satisfies them, it pays them, it grows in wealth. How do you create that?
Yes. I'm really glad that you made that distinction between success because you can perceive success, a successful business in a way.
Mm.
Many would say it's a profitable business or a business that grows in revenue, but you're bringing a key point, which is a business that provides for the business owner, a business that makes the business owner satisfied. So for me, the number one thing is to have that in mind. What does that mean to have a business that satisfies me?
Mm.
So, or you, if you're listening to this, maybe it is a business that allows you to have freedom of time. Maybe it's a business that allows you to have freedom of creation, a business that allows you to pivot and adjust and change as many times as you want, or a business that provides financially. I think that having that in mind will actually help you create a business. Yesterday I posted something in my social networks talking about creating a business while you're chilling or relaxing on the beach. And a
Mm.
person asked me, when is the right time to have a business that grows while you're relaxing on the beach? My answer was, it's always the right time. But you can create a business with that premise, with
Yeah.
that idea that if you're creating a business this way that provides that type of freedom, that's how you have to set up the business. So you're gonna probably need systems in place so that some of the work in the business will be automated, or a team that runs certain aspects of the business for you,
Yeah.
so that you don't have to be the one doing everything.
Yeah.
uh, so that to me is the number one thing that they have to have in mind.
Yeah. No, that's a great point you make. Some of the stats in the United Kingdom, where I'm from, where I live, shows that more than 98% of the businesses in the UK are one man businesses. In other words, one
Yeah.
man, one woman businesses. I think the stats are probably the same in the US. And when it's just you and you've got to go out in the day, and if you don't do it, you don't get paid. If it doesn't, so how does one change that mindset from it's got to be me, it's got to be me? Why are so many just stuck in what I say, they why so many created another job for themselves that they can't have this beach life that you talk about because they have to
Mhm.
be there. Why does that happen?
A couple of reasons come to my mind. So, and they are all beliefs. So those are things that they believe that are real. So one of the beliefs that came to my mind is that nobody can do what they do better than they do it. So it's that idea that they are irreplaceable or that someone else would not do such a great job. So they hoard, right? They hoard the responsibilities because they believe that they're only ones that can do what they do really well. That's one. The
Hmm.
second thing is that they believe they don't have the money to hire a team to run a business for them. But the
Right.
problem with that is that if they are a solopreneur, the capacity of the business to grow is limited to their own capacity. And at the end of the day, everybody has only 24 hours every single day. It's the only fully democratic resource that we have in the world that is time. So if they believe they don't have money to be able to hire people, they are always limited to their own capacity and time or their own sanity. So it's interesting that we're talking about this today because in my mastermind, the live training today is a specific. I'm still going to do this recording, by the way. So it's all about finding the dream team that will increase the business owner's capacity to bring in more revenue and more profit. So that is how I hire people. Looking at the capacity increase and how much more revenue and profits they can bring by hiring specific people. So I would say these two things are the main reasons why many business owners keep being actually solopreneurs for a long time
Right.
because they believe they don't have the money and that they are irreplaceable.
Right. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that notion there. Tell us, how does someone move from where they are, whatever they're earning, to creating a business generating seven figures or more? What needs to happen? Just following on from, maybe from where you just left off, I suppose.
Yes, sure. Um, Well, thinking about even the how I assess the situation of the business owner, I would say the number one thing is to understand how scalable the business truly is.
Hmm.
Because sometimes the way the business was created or established doesn't allow them to truly scale to multiple seven figures. I think that scalability is an important conversation to have. So let's say if the business plan is all about them providing one-on-one support to people,
Yeah,
at some point it's going to be limited to their time again.
that's right.
So I really assess well their vision and what they really want, like that definition of success that you mentioned yourself, but how scalable the business is. So sometimes we do need to adjust the revenue model or the way that they make money in the business so
Hmm.
that it becomes scalable. Um, like in my business, I do one-on-one coaching, but there is also the group component that you also do have, right? So that you can scale your time. And then definitely the implementation of specific systems so that they can track the numbers so that they can have a really clear idea of what's happening in the business. We want to make sure we are tracking specific performance indicators to meticulously, precisely focus on the little things, the little levers that will scale the business over time.
Hmm.
So these would be foundational aspects of the growth or the scalability to seven figures.
Right. Fantastic. And listen, one of the things you're known for, Mariana, is telling people, look, you're running your business.
Mhm.
You don't just have to run your business for income and you don't have to burn yourself out, but create wealth through your business. How does an entrepreneur listening in now thinking, what does she mean create wealth? I just want this business to pay my bills. Then she's saying create wealth through my business. How do they do that?
Yes. uh, well, There's a process behind it, but there's a massive mindset shift or a mindset upgrade.
Mm,
Here's what I see out there. A lot of business owners working for the business, working to make the business work. I teach them to flip that relationship. So I want them to start thinking how the business can work for them.
right.
So, what do I mean by this? There's that time freedom that we were talking about. But one of the things I teach them to do is to follow a simple methodology like profit first, where they actually pay themselves first. And
Mhm.
then they make decisions about the remaining of money that they have in the business. So just developing that idea that they have to put themselves first is fundamental. And I know some people would say, but my business is not even profitable yet. I get it. The problem is that as human beings, the more money we make, the more money we spend. That's why a lot of people have multi-million-dollar businesses, but they're not making any money. It's just because they're making a lot of money, but they're also spending a lot.
Yeah.
So we find that sweet spot where they pay themselves and then they also continue to grow the business. And of course, the more profitable they become, the more they pay themselves. So I help them flip from being revenue focused to profit focused. So now we're always looking at the bottom line and making sure that that bottom line is growing consistently.
Hmm.
And based on that, then that money that they earn, that it's allocated properly. So this is how, yeah, I always have like financial advisors and people that specialize truly in asset allocation to
Mm.
help them make decisions about their personal money, right? How can you invest your money in a place that will continuously generate money for them? So over time, what they see is that their money is now making money for them, and they have a business that's now working for them instead of them working in the business or working for the business.
Perfect.
So that's kind of how you create wealth. And one of my main KPIs that my clients track is net worth.
Yeah.
So we assessing business with their net worth. If their net worth is not growing, what's the point of having a business, right? You're working for everybody else. You're working for your team, you're working for your clients, but you're not working for yourself.
You
And
know,
everybody's happy but you.
it's a great point. We're on the same page on this, and I'm glad someone else is professing the same thing and preaching the same thing. Because if you're working hard in your business anyway, get wealthy. Don't just focus on
Yes.
paying the bills. Get wealthy. And I love what you said is build your business in a way that you're not just focused on the sales revenue, but it's got to be profitable. Because if you're in business right now, business is about making money, right? If you don't want make you don't want to make serious money in business, get a hobby. Do it as a hobby. Go and get a job somewhere else.
Or get
Business,
a job. Yeah.
yeah, get a job, right? It's much easier. It's less headache, but it's not maybe not as rewarding. And I love what you said. So you help them to become more profitable, and then you say, "Hey, we're going to take some of these profits and we are going to allocate them into other assets that will also generate wealth for you, generate cash for you." So I love all of that. Now, why don't more business owners, entrepreneurs do that? Why don't they do that?
Well, number one thing for me is lack of financial literacy.
Mm,
They don't know how to manage money. They weren't taught
yeah,
how to handle money. There's no financial literacy. And if you really think about this, a lot of business owners are visionaries and they specialize in an industry or a certain service, and then they translate that into a business, but they didn't go necessarily to a business school, or they didn't have financial literacy growing up going to school. A fun fact, my daughter is now going to high school,
mm,
and then we just visited the new school this week, so on Tuesday. And then so here in the US, I'm not sure how it is in the UK. So here in the US is very different than in Brazil, because actually you have the core classes and you have elective classes. And in Brazil, you only have core classes, which is horrible because then you don't have any flexibility to focus on
right,
your genius, right?
right.
So what is interesting is that one of the core values that's now mandatory is financial education,
Hmm.
and financial literacy, personal finances and financial literacy. And
Wow.
I'm like,
Good.
oh my
Good.
goodness, right?
Good.
That's what I'm talking about. And so financial literacy is key. So
Uh-huh.
they sincerely don't know how to track numbers. Many of them actually hate numbers. They
Wow.
don't like math. They believe that tracking numbers is math, which is not.
It's not.
And they have a poor relationship with money as well. So, with money and numbers. So, I
Yeah.
think that's the biggest thing. They see the revenue growing, but they're not really assessing the numbers or tracking them properly.
Yeah.
So how would they know that they're profitable or not? It becomes like a game of just trial and error,
Hmm.
which is not what top successful business owners do.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with that. Earlier on, you mentioned net worth, right? For those
Mhm.
who are sitting there thinking, she said, I need to know my net worth. I need to know my net worth. You know, I speak all around the world, and sometimes I talk about net worth. And only about 10% of the room can tell me. These are entrepreneurs. These are business owners. Only about 10% of the room. I could be in a room of 1,000 people. Only about 10% of the room, and I've done this all over the world, all over the can tell me what net worth is. Now, you are the expert. Tell us in simple terms what net worth is and why it's important for them to track net worth,
Mhm.
their net worth.
Yes. Oh, yes. I have the same story. I have the same experience. Isn't it fascinating? I, it's fascinating that people really don't have access to that information. And at the same time, for those listening to this and you have no idea what net worth is, that you also don't feel that bad about yourself. It's normal, but you
That's right.
have to fix it. I would say, for me, in very simple terms, net worth is what you own minus what you owe. That's how I see it.
That's it.
So, see what you owe minus what you owe, what you own minus what you owe. You're gonna find your net worth. And what about you, Mac?
Well, no,
How
it's
how
the
do you
same thing.
describe net worth?
What you said is simply as that.
Mm,
What you own, take away what you owe other people. In other words, for the technical gurus out there, the CPAs, the accountants, your net assets minus your net liabilities, your assets being the property, the real estate properties, the whatever it is, gold, cash in the bank, all these assets. Take away the loans, the credit cards, the money you owe other people is your net worth. So when people say I want to be a millionaire, I say, what does that mean? Does that mean having 1 million in your bank account? Well, if you've got 1 million sitting in your bank account, it is not working hard for you. So let me tell you, that's one way you can measure it. But the most successful entrepreneurs, billionaires and multi-billionaires will say, hey, I'm going to acquire these assets. These assets are going to cash flow for me. But at the same time, I'm going to acquire these assets sometimes with some liabilities. In other words, loans, mortgages, all this kind of stuff. So you want to be a millionaire? Let's say you've got 2 million worth of assets. But you've also got 1 million worth of liabilities, loans, credit card, all the rest of it. Two, take away one is what? One. Now you're 1 million, whatever it is, dollar millionaire, pound millionaire, doesn't matter.
mhm.
So that's how you measure it. So if you're listening in now, what Mariana is saying is know your net worth. It's a measure of your value, monetary value. So important. Yes, you know your sales. Yes, know your net profit. Yes, know your net profit after taxation. That's where your real money is. And
That
know
is
what your
true.
net worth is, right? Hey, I just mentioned tax. I don't know if you ever talk about tax to people and why they should really find someone to advise them on tax. It's a big eater in terms of your cash, right?
Oh, yes, yes. And well, tax season just ended here in the US. So April 15th was the last day to file your taxes without
Right.
an extension. So it just happened. And people are having all the feels, all the feels about it. Yes, I'm not a tax expert. I'm not a CBA. But I always have people come in to talk about taxes, and this is a topic that I take very seriously because you're right. Taxes also, if you don't take that into consideration, it also creates that illusion of success, but
Mm,
not really. Just like net worth, right? So you can perceive success, you can believe that the business is successful, but if you're not growing your net worth and you're not taking into consideration tax strategy, these are the things that can make you feel very upset
yeah.
at the end of the year because things are not really working. So, working with people across the world, I know that taxes are very different depending on the country you're in. So, every single business owner must have a tax expert by their side. And I seriously recommend, whatever you are in the world, that you have a monthly conversation, at least with your tax expert, to assess exactly what happened that month and how
Mm,
you can improve in the following month. Otherwise, it's going to be too late. You don't want to get that tax bill, or like countries vary so much depending on how they track taxes or they get paid. But this is a sensitive conversation, and it massively affects your profit. So normally, every 1% that you improve in your taxes goes straight to your pocket. I mean, that's
right.
the sensitive aspect of taxes, right? Every
Yeah.
little drop of it. So
Mm.
you can't take it for granted at all.
Absolutely. And some people believe, the government says you've got to pay this tax. But listen, if you've got a good tax advisor, like Mariana says, there are ways of mitigating. Not don't hide from the tax. You've got to pay it. But admitting, if you're an entrepreneur, your government, I don't care which country you're in, I've trained and taught and done business in over 50 countries around the world. Governments set things up and give you incentives as an entrepreneur if you are structured the right way. So eventually you pay less tax. Why? Because you're providing employment, you're providing things that they want if you're doing it the right way. Now, I'm going to come to Mariana. Mariana, in a moment, I want to ask you this question.
Sure.
And I want you to give 3 tips to the listeners here on how to grow their business, increase their business profits. 3 tips, if you can, on how to increase business profits. Because we're saying if your profits can grow and you manage your tax well, you can take those net profits and you can put it into wealth generating vehicles and asset allocated in other things. So it's very important. So right now you are listening to the Business and Wealth Show with Mariana Lacombe and Mac Attram, your business and wealth coach. And today I'm so glad I'm talking to a kindred spirit. We've been preaching the same thing. She's been doing this for over 20 years. I've been doing this for over 20 years, and we're talking the same language here. So remember to like, share. Also, remember the algorithms like engagement. So make some comments. What did you pick up? What is it you can start looking into? And also, if you can in a moment, reach out to Mariana to see how she can support you. But I'm going to go to her right now. So Mariana, 3 tips, and then I want to go into how do people reach out to you. Go ahead, Mariana.
That's great. Yes. So, all right, number one tip, and so simple but not simplistic, is to assess your pricing strategy and probably increase your prices. And why am I saying that? I know it's obvious, but not simplistic. A lot of business owners, they don't have a specific strategy to price their services or product properly, and they don't have a strategy to increase their prices, continuously, because they're afraid of losing clients. They are satisfied with how much they are charging, and they are not paying attention to other factors like inflation, like changing lifestyle, like what's happening in the world. And all of these things truly affect their pricing. So one of the things I do with my clients is to assess how they're pricing their services and products. And many times there's an opportunity for them to adjust that, to optimize that. And it often, 99.9% of the times, increase their profits, because normally it's pure profit again, right? You're
Right.
not changing your expenses, but you're improving profitability right away.
Perfect.
The second thing is to in addition to checking your prices, is to assess the possibility of having a recurring revenue strategy as well. And why is that important? It predicts cash flow, it predicts profitability, and you will know exactly what's the amount of cash you truly have in hands to be able to reinvest in your business and scale your business. So, one of the things that is super interesting is sometimes you have a business model that requires, let's say, one-time fees, but you can translate that into a recurring revenue model, and then you will be able to see revenue and profits growing consistently.
Very nice.
And then the third strategy that I really love is to create partnerships and joint ventures with other professionals, with other companies that serve the exact same client. And
Mm,
why do I love that? Because one of the biggest expenses in business is marketing. It is customer acquisition.
mm.
So every time you want to increase revenue, if you need to acquire a new client, let's say, there is a lot of marketing investment. So this is one of the biggest expenses that people see. So when you're doing partnerships and joint ventures, you now have what I call a glam squad, or a group of brains thinking with you and wanting to serve the exact same client. And most times, whenever you're creating partnerships like that, you're not going to have any cost of acquisition for that client. So I really, really love partnerships and joint ventures because of that, because it allows everybody to grow. And only there is one person that's getting the most value out of your partnerships and joint ventures, and that is your client.
Oh,
So your client is receiving massive value from you, from your partners, from this glam squad. And you're going to have a client that's going to be raving about you forever, and it's not going to want to leave because this client now trusts that you have the best people to support, him or her. So these would be my three tips. I could give you
perfect.
10.
No, no, three is good. Partnership, recurring revenue model, and
Yeah.
adjust your pricing, increase your prices, because that
Mhm.
would have a direct effect on the profitability. Now, Mariana, before we finish off, how do people reach you? How can they find out more about what you do and maybe get help if they need to?
Absolutely. Well, I'm an open book. So if you just find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever you are, you just can simply reach out to me and send me a message. If you want to take a look at what I do and how I help people, you can go to evolvewithquantum.com. That is my website, and you will be able to learn more about my methodology and my values and what I stand for. What is my soul and my soul purpose as well. So I'm available to talk with anyone. I love collaboration. I love to just connect with like-minded people. If there's anything I can do to add value to anyone listening to this, I'm more than excited to talk to you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well
Thank
said.
you.
And evolved, say it again. We will add it to the show notes here.
Evolve, yes, evolvewithquantum.com.
Evolve with what? Evolve with quantum.com. Okay, we'll add it on there
Right.
as well. And they can also catch you on Facebook and LinkedIn and other social media channels. I want to say thank you so much, Mariana, for giving us so much value here and sharing your knowledge with us and helping us to really think about business and wealth and cash flow and profit and really realizing we need to know our numbers. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Mariana, thank you. Until we speak again, speak soon.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you so
most
much,
welcome.
Mac. I really appreciate it.
You're most welcome. Everybody, listen, thank you for tuning in to this session. And if you have any thoughts, any comments, write it into the chat, into the comment box, whatever it is. And also give us some thumbs up, give us some emojis. Tell us what you thought about this as well. Until we speak again, take care and God bless. Bye for now.